All right, guys, Avengers came out yesterday, and I watched it last night. I had to actually think about it. I had to sleep on it because this one, I was so incredibly excited after watching Infinity War and that ending and how that will be resolved. And going into Endgame, I was just so pumped, so hyped, and in the past couple weeks, this is one of the most anticipated movies of the year for me in the past couple weeks because it really felt like with the title Endgame, it felt like it would be the endgame for the Avengers in ways. And again, this is a spoiler-free video, or spoiler-free review, but I love the hell out of this movie. I thought that this Avengers Infinity War was one of my favorite superhero movies, and then watching Endgame, this one even tops it. And I loved Infinity War. I thought Infinity War was incredible. The way they built up every character in the MCU, they gave them all great time, and how they made the story and the writing and these characters for this type of movie, it just really worked very well in Infinity War. And then going into Endgame, where you've got that dire ending and you've got these just a set group of Avengers now in this movie who are trying to undo what happened in the last movie. So again, this is going to be hard to talk about because this is completely spoiler free. But everything about this movie is incredible. All these characters returning in this movie, every one of them has a moment to shine. Every one of them has incredible character arcs. There are moments in this movie where I did not realize that they were doing this story arc, and it just happens, but it makes total logical sense where they went and they led from these other movies. And people already know. I'm not going to spoil what the plot of this movie is because people already know what the plot device is. But if you don't, I don't want to spoil it because I feel like going into this clean actually makes it even more amazing. Even though I knew kind of what's going to happen in the movie in terms of the basic plot, which they're not even giving away in any of the trailers or any of the marketing. People just say it in reviews, like this thing happens, or this plot device happens, which is fine. And I think that the way they utilize this said plot device is incredible. It's been done a million times, but in this it works so well. Now, like I said, all these characters, every one of them in this movie just pull off all these incredibly emotional moments where you look at where they've all started and where they're all going and where they are now with what has happened in Infinity War. They are in a dire situation. Everything about that works. And the thing I love about this movie is you will never guess how many surprises are in this movie. They literally pulled everything they could out of their hat in this movie. There are so many. This isn't a spoiler, but there are so many characters that throughout the past movies could appear, and it's so cool that like they do that. This really felt like one of the biggest love letters to any movie, like because they did an incredible job with Infinity War with building up these characters, and then in this one building up this half of the characters and doing it to where they resolve the story of all 22 movies. And it feels so complete with every character from each movie. Like they all connect in a way that's just incredible, the ones that are in this movie. And it blows me away how they did that. And without spoiling anything, the action in this is truly one of the greatest action in any of these superhero movies. Some of the greatest action. If you want to look at a movie and use the term epic, this one might be the definition of epic because everything about the action in this movie is truly blows me away. It is incredible. It is one of the biggest like fan servicey things ever, and I love it. I love everything about this movie. This was incredible. Again, I thought Infinity War couldn't be topped, and it did because this one just blows me away. It is incredible. These characters are incredible. The story arcs are incredible. The action is incredible. How these characters are all utilized is perfect and incredible. And this is such a strong and emotional emotionally challenging film for this type of genre, honestly. Like, I felt like watching this, it doesn't feel cynical. It feels so like there's so much heart and so much passion and so much emotion that it feels real. And that's what I love about these Marvel movies. They feel real even though they're in out of this world situations like Thor who's a god, or like the Guardians of the Galaxy, or like Captain Marvel, like all these things that are not real, but these characters feel so real and so human, and putting them in a dire situation at the beginning of this movie and at the end of Infinity War, it gave them the best like completed story in this, and this feels complete, and it feels like you don't even need any more Marvel movies. Honestly, it feels like this could be the end and they wouldn't have to make any more, even though of course they're making more. Obviously, Spider-Man Far From Home comes out like in a month or two, I think June or July. So this one felt like it was perfectly complete. Everything about it just worked perfectly. Like, this was incredible. One of the best superhero movies ever. One of the most emotional, one of the most strong, and one of the most unique too, even though it uses things from other movies, which plot devices, which I won't say, but it gives it a fresh take. Like, this movie is so fresh and unique for the genre. Again, everything works incredibly well in this movie. I loved Avengers Endgame. My favorite movie of the year so far. God, blew me away. Just loved Avengers Endgame. So tell me down below, spoiler free, if you have seen Avengers Endgame. And I will probably do a spoiler filled video as well because there's so many things I have to talk about. So that's it for today. Thank you guys so much for watching.